Dr. Dre, one of rap's first billionaires, made a killing when he sold his Beats product line to Apple, and his wife is seeking $2 million a month in spousal support. So apparently, she helped him create Beats, and she also helped create the Chronic 2001, which is a slapper of an album. So apparently, she was in the studio helping him write lyrics because she wants $2 million a month. So it's pretty funny. So they actually
Objection,
TMZ.
objection.
Up, go ahead.
Okay, in that case, right, since she was very supportive, right, she supported him, right, she stood home, she took care of the children, right, she does deserve half because she's a very well respected mother, right. She takes care of the children, right, she cooks for him, and she does wifely duties. I don't know if she did wifely duties or not, but in order to get half, you have to do wifely duties.
It looks like TMZ, TMZ gets everything apparently. You know what's funny about TMZ? I'll just say this as like a side tangent, like a side note. Like when the whole thing with Kobe happened, TMZ knew within like 5 minutes of happening. They originally got it wrong though, remember? Because they said the kid wasn't on the helicopter, and then they retracted it, and they were like, "Oh no, the kid was on the helicopter." Gianna Bryant. Um, and then they said there were people on there that weren't on there and whatever. There was like this whole weird thing. Like they said Rick Fox was on there, and then they were like, "Oh no, he wasn't on there." But it was like really fucking crazy. But they always break the story first. So I don't even know how they get a hold of this shit. They really should have had these people looking for Osama bin Laden
Well,
because I
because
think
they
they would
don't
have
care if
found him
it's
in an
right or
ad.
not. They just break it and then they'll retract later on if it's not right. They're not like a as credible of a news source. So what they do is they just worrying about breaking it first. They don't care if the news is fake or real. So they break it, and then if it's fake, then they retract on it. Like a CBS or a Fox, they can't just break it and then retract on their statement because we all know that Fox, CBS, CNN, right? Those are real media sources. They always tell the truth, and they're very respectable. Unlike TMZ, who's not as respectable of a news source. And everything you see on Fox and CNN is totally and utterly correct. Otherwise, they would get sued for libel. So we have to know that it's a true and respected news source, unlike TMZ.
It's no longer about who gets the story out and gets it out the most accurately that's rewarded. It's about who gets the story out first and gets the most clicks and generates the most Google PPC, ad revenue through that sense. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is, isn't TMZ ran by like Harvey Levin, who's like a former lawyer? So he kind of knows like what he could legally say when putting out stories that might not necessarily be entirely true. Isn't that the case?
I believe so. I believe he runs TMZ. Yes, he is a former lawyer. They got sued numerous times, but they never get caught for anything. Nothing ever happens. They play within the confines of the legal system.
But anyway, my point in bringing this up, though, is because it ties back to Nicole Young, of course. I mean, when you think of Dr. Dre's success and you think of his success with beats and his success with music, you think of evidently Nicole Young, who clearly had an important part in laying down the beats and laying down the framework for the Chronic 2001 album and for Dr. Dre's success. And a lot of people, if you don't know, they credit her with Dr. Dre's signing of Eminem and 50 Cent. But she needs, according to legal documents obtained by TMZ, Dr. Dre's soon-to-be ex-wife, which is a little older of an article, it is his ex-wife, has provided a list of monthly expenses that explains why she needs $1,936,399 in temporary spousal support. The documents point to some pretty wild expenses, such as $135,000 a month on clothes, $20,000 on phone and email. That's interesting. I wonder who she's making phone calls to. What does she have, like 30 burner phones or something? Probably a little
No,
bit
she
more than
has
that.
to
For
keep up
20,000.
with she has to keep up with her wifely duties since he's no longer he's no longer able to provide for her in that capacity. She has to basically hire an outside firm. So that makes sense. 20,000. I have to agree with that charge. So what else? Is there nails on there? There has to be nails, and there has to clothes
There,
make
there.
sense.
I'll go through the list.
150,000 for clothes. That actually seems pretty cheap. 150,000 for clothes. I would think it would actually be more. Gucci, that's about 1,500 a pop. So she can only get about, I don't know, 100 shirts a month. That's not enough. These people, they're celebrities. They do wardrobe changes and everything like that. They might change 4 or 5 times a day when they're going to red carpet events.
So here's another thing that she lists out. I'll read out the rest of these expenses. So she says, so I said the 135 on clothes, 20,000 on phone and email, $10,000 a month on laundry, and a whopping $900,000 a month on entertainment. $900,000 a month on entertainment. Who is she entertaining? The fucking Sultan of Dubai or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
No, that
900K
makes
on
total sense.
entertainment.
No, that makes total sense. There's 31 days in a month. We're not talking about February. I understand if you said it was February, then that would be a little bit too much. But we're talking about other months where there's 31 days.
That makes perfect sense. So how does that break down mathematically per day? Let's see it. Let's fire up the calculator. Let's say 31 days, you got $900,000.
Well, that's
What is that?
29,000 per day. So
Wow.
you can't
There you
you
go.
can't even rent a private plane because you can't afford it because you only get 29,000 a day. You have to save up for 2 days. So basically, some days you're not getting entertained. You have to uh, go easy on it for a couple of days. And they're celebrities, right? They don't want to go to a movie theater with other people. They have to, if they wanted to go see a movie, they would have to rent out the whole movie theater. So that's like a superfluous charge. So you have to look at this holistically. Like that's not really that much money for what she needs to spend.